This will just be quick because I don't have a lot of details on this yet. SCURA is board-approved funding for New London Public Schools to work on education at the high school. And they have partnered with a group called Seaside Sustainability out of Massachusetts to come in and help with the educational program. I don't know what it will be. I have heard that they're going to take the dumpsters and do an audit on the garbage to see what's in them. Hopefully they'll put them back in the dumpster afterwards. The idea being that they're going to start at the high school and work on some education, then maybe bring it down to the middle school, elementary schools to talk about solid waste and recycling and whatever else they're doing. Hopefully it'll enter into the curriculum to a degree. Our committee, we talk about education a lot, and there's a lot of kids. So it's a way to start and get stuff out there. So there's just a little flyer that they provided with some of the programs or things they do. And we're on to number 6. So I want to welcome Quincy Jones. Abel, I don't know your last name, sorry.
Guzman.
What is it?
Guzman.
Guzman, and then Rick Woodward for the meeting. And I turn it over to Quincy.
All right. Well, I'm the solid waste crew leader at the City of New London. So what we do at the transfer station is we have a scale system where you pull on a scale, we get your heavyweight, and you tell me what items you have, and we kind of tell you where they go, and when you come back on the scale, we get your lightweight and give you the price. So what it is it's like $80 per ton for residents, which comes out to like 4 cents a pound. Right? We have different items like car tires, which are $3. ACs, which are $15. Mattress box springs, those are free. If you have antifreeze or oil, those items are free. Metal is free. I got a list here for everybody, and what we have on there. It has the phone number on there. If anybody has any questions on what goes where, you have the phone number on there. You can call up either myself or Rick. Be there to answer any questions.
I'll pass them out there.
You need more?
Just for around there.
Quincy, is that the latest one? Because I have one of these. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the latest one.
Is it?
But also, paints aren't on there. We also take paint also. That's a couple of these around.
That's the transfer station.
Yes. Yeah, we take paint at the transfer.
We take paint, we take fluorescent light bulbs, we take batteries. Those are all free to the public.
Rick, when you say batteries, you mean all batteries or just car batteries?
Small batteries, car batteries,
All batteries.
pretty much, yes.
Okay.
Are they free?
Yeah, batteries are free.
May I take a couple of those
Sure.
for my neighbor? Now, you said metal's free. You don't consider a refrigerator metal?
It is, but anything with Freon.
Okay, what if the Freon's gone?
You gotta make sure that the
because
Freon's gone.
we have one of those little cubes that I've been trying to convince my husband to throw in the garbage pail, and he goes, "You can't do that."
Right.
And it has no Freon in it because it's. So, what is that?
I wouldn't know if the Freon's out of it or not because I don't want to poke a hole in it and see
No,
it.
that's-
Yeah.
Let him finish and then we'll go ahead, keep going.
Yeah. But if you have like paints, if you have latex and they don't have the label on them, and we can't take them, but if you take it, open it up and let it dry out, we can take it. But oil based, if it doesn't have the label on it, you have to bring it to a hazardous drop off.
The latex that he's talking about, if you open it up, put cat litter in it, it will absorb it and dry it out, and then you can put it into your regular waste. Then it becomes a burnable item.
So if it's latex, you put it in there, you want it in the regular waste, not recycling, correct?
Correct. Right. Okay. But if you bring down latex, as he said, if you bring down latex, paint, and it's in a can, the lid is on, we take it, we set it aside, we have a company that comes in
Sure.
and takes it away.
But there's still no cost to
No cost.
individuals. Keep going. Or I got questions if you.
Oh, no. That's
Or
that's all I
unless
got.
Abel, do you want to talk about you do the daily
Yes.
runs, so maybe you can talk about what you do on a daily basis type of thing
Yes. I
from the
am.
early in the morning.
I am the recycle maintainer in the city of New London. My day consists of picking up the recyclables, whether it be bottles, cans, cardboard, paper, basically anything that's actually recyclable. Styrofoam is not a recyclable item, I know that. Because as soon as it breaks up, it makes like a
Explodes.
snowflake.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I guess the plastic bags. I've been trying to enforce that now since it's been coming up in the meetings. Fortunately, I do get a little, setback. Like, hey, that's all recyclable. It's like, yeah, those bags are not recyclable anymore. And they're looking at me like, do you know what you're doing? I'm like, yeah, I think I know what I'm doing. It's just a give and take.
So by enforcement, what do you what do you do? Do you leave it there? Do you?
Usually, if the can's hasn't been picked up, like the trash can,
Yep.
I'll throw what's not accepted in there. If it's already been taken, I'll call up Quincy. Quincy, this house has such and such items. I can't take it, obviously.
Sure.
If they call, that's why.
So would you prefer that enforcement or something else?
If we can get backing from the city, that would help. Because there's times where I have had to go back. I mean, obviously haven't been able to now, but back when we had to. Like if something wasn't a recyclable item, you would have to go back and grab it.
So when you say backing from the city, even though you called Quincy and Quincy's told you, no, don't take it, somebody gets on you from the city admin and tells you to have him go back and take it, if I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm just reiterating what we heard last week. We were also told that if it was on the curb, you guys were instructed to pick it up. So,
Yeah. And that's,
and that came right from your director.
yeah. And
Oh, if they want this whole thing to work, like I said last week, there has to be a partnership. They need the help.
Yeah.
So they need to work with you guys just as much as they need to work with us.
So from your end, what would you see as enforcement? Forgetting about the backing aspect. If you don't have any or haven't even thought about it.
yeah,
I think what they should come up with is like get some stickers to put on the recycle bin, or even on the garbage cans. When they have something wrong in it, to kind of let them know, what they did wrong. So the next time we come around, we can resolve that issue.
Which at one point we had.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
Do you remember what it was? Or can you take
About
us?
15, 18 years ago.
I mean, what was it? Just
There was a sticker.
Yep.
And it had listed what was accepted, what isn't, and if you saw something like the styrofoam,
Sure.
you would check off the styrofoam on that and you put that sticker on the container.
So-
Or, other dirty containers, contaminated. Like a lot of people think that tissues and paper towels are recyclable.
Right.
They are not. They are contaminated. Whether it's because you blew your nose, you wiped your baby's backside,
Breakdown.
so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. But people confront us all the time. That's paper, that's recyclable. I'm not going to argue.
So at that time when you had the stickers, how would people respond? They would call?
They would call, complain, call the city
Yeah.
management, and without the backing, we can sit there and put those stickers on all day long, and it makes no difference.
Now, when you had the
What
sticker
happened to the
program, did you leave the item as well in the
Yes.
blue bucket? Okay.
So that they kind of
So
referred
without the
to
sticker,
each other.
I mean,
Right.
it's almost, go figure, like, oh, they left the styrofoam. Duh, maybe I'm not supposed to be putting styrofoam in the blue bucket.
What happened to the stickers? They never replenished them. Things just kind of went. This is like before Quincy's time as a crew leader.
So, Marty, maybe you can tell me. The blight officer has a book. Like if there's a mattress, he can. Do you remember if he puts a sticker or something on a mattress?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I think the blight officer has something similar to what you're saying. Kind of says, pick this up. it's not, you can't leave it on the curb.
Well,
Type of thing.
the thing is, and you and I have discussed this, is that, I mean, if there's not a significant cultural shift
Sure.
in the community, it's top to bottom across the board, and it's gonna be exceptionally challenging to change after years of
I think they call that entrenched.
But to do it is going to require backbone at the top,
Which we need. We need the backing.
Yeah.
backbone, and
That's one major issue right there.
I mean, what incentive is there for you in the field if you're going to be undercut?
If we're undercut, we have no incentive.
I agree.
It's almost because you're reluctant to, say, call him because you know what the results are gonna be.
We have a
anyways.
couple of drivers that don't bother calling stuff in because they know if we call it in,
Yeah. You're gonna go back.
we're gonna go
and
back
get it.
anyway,
Yeah.
so what's the difference? You're absolutely right.
So let's pretend you're out on a run, a daily run, and there's a TV inside someone's garbage can. Do you have the ability to separate it out on the truck, or just leave it there?
Depends on how heavy the TV is.
Can I have those
Okay.
pictures?
Yeah, sure.
It depends on if you catch it before it gets into the hopper,
Then you can.
because then you've got to kind of almost climb in or reach way in
Don't
and
do
drag
that.
it back out. Oh, I've been known to do that many times.
I've done it too.
I think we've all done it.
So when you go out and do your runs, go with recycling first. So you said bags are
Yes.
an offender, I guess. What else do you find that is an offender type of thing in recycling?
Styrofoam,
TV.
the TV boxes,
The TV boxes.
the size of them, they can.
Here, so you can have a better picture. I went around and took
They just
pictures
leave
last
them, they don't
week
break them
after
down.
the
They don't
meeting.
even break
This
it
is what they
down.
have to deal with.
The 32s, the 44s, the 55-inch TVs.
Especially
They all
when they
have
put the income
styrofoam
tax.
inside
I've seen
that
that a
box
lot
for
in
that.
my view.
Yeah, we know.
All I
When
know
they
is
get the
screen.
income tax, woo, it's like
The
rip
box gets put
again.
out at the
I
curb
know a counselor that
with
was
the
in
styrofoam in
violation. That's what that's all right.
with the styrofoam still in it, which the styrofoam is not recyclable. The cardboard is, but it's just left in the box.
No, let me ask a question, because one of the pictures that my sister took, there's a mattress, I can tell, and I told Jackie this, I said that it's been urinated a lot, so this time they used foil to cover it. Did you, look at the picture, it speaks for itself, that you can tell. And I was like, ooh, that's deep for the garbage. For you guys to,
But a lot of
I'm
times
like,
you see
ooh.
stuff like that all over the city. Like a lot of stuff that's free to get rid of to bring to the transfer station. You see that people just kind of put it on the curb, and it's free
They
to get
put
rid
it
of.
right next to the
Right.
to the pole.
Yeah, because they think that we're gonna.
Isn't
put it in
that
garbage
danger?
truck.
So Quincy, you have a program to go out and pick it up though. Like if I called you,
Yeah, yeah.
take me through that, and then how many people actually call you
You're talking about the bulk waste. thing.
yeah. Since it's probably been like 10 people that called
this year?
so far.
I get just like with the recycling, I don't think people are aware that that program exists again ever since it was dropped when we had a city
It
manager.
all comes down to
I
educating
didn't
the
even know.
public.
Breen, you had a
That's
question.
it.
But there's a whole thing the council voted on as far as like this list where everything costs for them to come pick up when you call, not counting the $20 or $25 you pay for the appointment now.
So you pay for the appointment, but the city makes money off of the mattresses?
No.
No.
No, it's
Well,
free.
Atlantic Waste comes and picks them up
They're
at no
recycled.
cost to us.
Okay.
So
But-
there is no,
I thought there was
It-
a
money
mattress
maybe
recycling
anyway.
program.
There is-
It is
go
a
ahead.
mattress recycling program,
Okay.
but if you have your mattress sitting on the curb and you call the city, come pick it up.
Okay.
It is a fee for the city to pick it up.
But does anybody take advantage of that, or do they take advantage of leaving it on the curb and eventually it gets picked up?
They
What would you
usually
have?
the black guy goes around and gives them a ticket, and they have to find a way to.
People are gonna pay.
So back to the card number saying with the large TVs. A lot of us have the little bins.
Yes.
They don't fit. Obviously.
Yeah.
You have to get out of the truck. You have to bend down, pick up a bin, pick up another bin.
Mhm.
And I've heard from a lot of people, probably some people here, it'd be better just to have carts, like the 90-gallon garbage cans.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on switching from bins to carts, and does that help solve some problems, create other problems, combination of both?
It depends on the days. That's the thing. Like Thursdays and Fridays are great because it's open. There's no cars in our way. So if carts are if we have all carts, it'd be just with the one arm, I guess, if we have it.
Right.
It'd be just 1, 2, not even getting out, it'd be great. But I have to run into Wednesday car parking, especially with obstructions right now too.
There's construction all the time.
Yeah.
What about the new trucks we're gonna be getting?
I
Are they able to handle the carts?
They should
they
do the
should,
carts
I heard
on
they
back.
should be able to.
Decide.
So you said Wednesday's harder than Thursday and Friday.
Yeah,
So
Monday,
Tuesday,
Tuesday, Wednesday.
So
Why
why?
is that?
I would say because of 3 family homes, there's no parking. It's really congested areas.
Monday starts at up around the Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Tuesday starts from the opposite side of Broad Street from Dunkin' Donuts. Wednesday goes from Connecticut Avenue, Broad Street, Town Line, Bank Street. And that's the heaviest part of apartments. Not enough off-street parking, like he said. Most of the cars are on the street. And it makes it very difficult for these guys.
So you're basically operating out of the middle of the street, or in a lane.
In a lane, yes.
Always in the lane.
The alternate side of the street parking help at all? If they had to park on one side so you could go, I know we discussed
It
it
would.
briefly last time.
It would be great, but come snow season,
I don't believe
it's not gonna
that would
happen.
solve
Okay.
a problem.
Brian Sear gave me data for the last, let's just call it a year time frame. I'm not sure. Was it September to July, September to August? And I put in all of his numbers to check it out, and then I totaled up all the MSW numbers, and maybe you guys can tell me why. It's a question I've asked him, and he said he wasn't sure. But on Wednesday and Thursday, we average 45 or 47 tons per day.
Okay.
And on
Tons of solid
of
waste.
solid waste, not recycling, just solid waste. I can't get the recycling numbers down to the day.
We average about 100,000 pounds a day.
So on Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturdays, it's well below 40. So why are Wednesday and Thursday?
Wednesday covers the biggest section of
Okay.
New London.
Biggest section, most dense, or combination of both, or
It's actually both.
Yeah.
And Thursday is about the same. It's maybe a quarter less, but it's generally like the same distance, not as dense.
And you probably see more volume now that, you know, the high rise, there's nobody at the high rise anymore. And that used to get picked up by a private contractor.
sure.
So everybody from the high rise dispersed all into London now. So that's gonna create more garbage.
So would that waste have gone to art for $80 a ton?
Yes.
Do you have any idea how much that is gone?
No.
Okay.
So you, right, with you and Tim, the recycled trucks you use now are side loading, correct?
Yes.
And with the new 5 trucks we're getting, they're all side loaded.
Yep.
Are we gonna maintain the recycled trucks, or will we use 2 of these that we're getting for recycling?
Well, they're gonna use 2 for recycle and 3 for garbage.
So I mean, we're putting ourselves in the same scenario, because if they have difficulty now with roads because they're trying to put stuff in on the side, we would have been better off with a rear loading vehicle.
Personnel. We need more personnel.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just,
So I want to move on from after. So Rick, you bring up the MSW to Preston and back.
Yeah.
Are you the one guy, or are there several people, or is it mostly you?
At this point in time, it's only me. It's only been me now for going on 3 months.
Okay.
Because Mo is probably out on a career-ending injury.
Are you able to keep up with it?
If I can run all day, every day, with the extra hours, yes. If I can get 4 or 5 loads in a day, I can pretty much keep up. Today would be a perfect example. I only got 1 load out today. So right now, I have on the street a trailer full of paper that has to go to Willimantic tomorrow. I have a trailer full of garbage to go tomorrow. I have a bulky trailer that's got to go to Plainfield tomorrow. I have a metal bin that needs to go to Mottville tomorrow. And then in the pit, I have at least one more load of garbage, and I would say I have a full load of paper sitting there right now. That leaves me
And whatever
6
comes
to
in
7
tomorrow.
loads tomorrow.
And whatever comes in tomorrow.
And that means if I don't go in at 4 o'clock, even if I do go in at 4 o'clock in the morning, versus my normal start time of 7:30, if I go in at 4 and I have good luck and I don't get stuck in lines, I will be able to get 4 or 5 loads out. But now, you're gonna, on top of that, there's gonna be another load of paper that's gonna come in tomorrow. There's gonna be 2 more loads minimum of garbage tomorrow. So it's gonna be an uphill battle now to get caught back up.
But for the most part, he does keep up with it pretty good.
Okay, this is the exception for that.
How did that paper get sorted? Why is it just paper? Where did it come from?
It's single stream recycling. It's our 2 trucks. We take in Connecticut College, Coast Guard, the Day. We take in CWPM, who has just bought out Sawchuck. So we went from 2 CWPM trucks a day to about 5 to 6 trucks a day. I've gone from 1 load of paper a day to a minimum of 2.
When you say paper, you mean all
Single stream recycling.
I see.
So plastic.
We call it paper.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's the way we talk about it.
So, how much more have you gotten since CWPM took over Sawchuck?
How much more recycling?
Right.
We probably doubled,
Yeah.
if not more.
And we don't charge them for recycling, is that correct?
We charge them $5.
So,
That's all.
so one of my concerns with our committee is we've talked, and you've heard it, I mean, you've heard it too, right? But we're probably going to be paying for recycling in the near future. So if we're getting $5 a ton, but we're paying 55. I'm not saying it's your guys' problem. It's probably
That's
Brian's.
Everything's gonna have to be renegotiated,
Right. So
absolutely.
if all of a sudden we're getting a lot more, it's a lot bigger problem than just taking our recycling, because we'll have CWPM or Sawchuck in addition.
Well, CWPM is,
Right, I'm
they
saying.
had taken over Sawchuck, so it's all CWPM now.
And I think Brian had mentioned it before, there's something new you're doing with the private contractors in recycling. Can you take us through that, or is that not something you want to do now?
Yeah, well, at one point if they came in and their recycling was mixed,
Mhm.
we were charging them as garbage.
Okay.
So, I mean, if they had more bags in it than anything, we would charge them as garbage and have them
Were you charging the 80 a ton or the
Yeah.
60? Okay.
instead of 5,000 a ton.
Go for it.
Just to get them to
In line type of thing.
Yeah. So it kind of worked a little bit, but not really.
No, it's backfired.
Why are those people coming back? Because they need you guys need the business?
You mean CW?
Yeah, again,
That's above my pay grade. I just do what I'm told. If they say take it and recycle.
okay, and another thing, Rick, that's a lot of overtime money that the city is paying for.
I won't disagree with you.
And at the same time, there's a lot of backup. You back up with your job that you keep. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time each and every one of you had a decent lunch that you can say, I can breathe?
The weekend.
I'm talking about job.
Yeah.
When you're at your job.
So
When can you breathe?
I don't take lunch.
So,
See, that's not
so
even
one of the
good
concerns
enough.
that you're also bringing up too is you guys do plowing as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
So how far behind does that get you during the winter seasons, or does that not affect you?
Days.
Yeah.
If they shut down the garbage to do the snow plowing,
Sure.
then you go a day or 2 without picking it up, and it backs up just as we're saying now. Absolutely.
So if we remove the private hauler stuff, how much does that free you up?
25%?
Yeah.
30% maybe? Give or take?
Is that enough?
What's the uptrade?
I guess that.
If you don't want to answer it, because
No, it's just not that I don't have a problem answering it. I mean, I come in early every day, and I run my backside off to try to keep that place empty.
Sure.
And it's I challenge myself every day to see just how much I can get done. And that's what keeps me flying.
Sure.
Quincy just sees me coming in, going out. I call him on the phone as I'm going by the office. Hey, I'm taking another load. I'll see you in a little while. Boom,
So with the one gentleman not injured, you're the only one that can
I'm
do
the
this
only
right now.
I'm the only
There's
trailer driver.
nobody that could
I
be.
mean, we can do it, but I have to be there at 7:30 in the morning, so I can't. You know,
Yeah,
Or I can have my other driver, who drives the garbage truck, drive, but he doesn't drive the garbage truck. So there's-
Go ahead, Mark.
How often is your equipment serviced?
This is a nice picture.
Hang on a minute.
This is going to be like a limousine that kills
Not
20
enough.
Well, I suspect that. I mean,
None of our equipment. And I am not-
Yep.
Marty, I am not going to pick on mechanical maintenance
I'm not.
because they are so understaffed, and with the amount of equipment that we have, and especially the solid waste that runs 5-6 days a week, 10 to 14 hours per day,
Yep.
they cannot handle it. They cannot keep up with it.
But for your safety, you've got to be in a vehicle.
Well, when I get in that vehicle in the morning, knowing that I've been the last driver in there and I'm the next driver in there, I can feel my way through it. If I feel there's something that isn't safe, these guys know. I have written letters before saying I won't take this vehicle. I won't do that.
And
I don't have that problem.
And when that happens, what's the protocol to get rid of the stuff?
Well, we actually have 2 trucks, so
We have
decide
2
on
tractor trailers, and I constantly bounce from one to the other.
Okay.
In and out, in and out. When I'm out on the road with one of them, Quincy, many a day, loads that trailer for me, takes it up, checks the weight, puts it out on the street. I come back, I back it into the door, I jump into that other one, and I'm right back on the road. And I trust him completely on it.
Now, on a different note, and I brought this up at the last meeting with Sear, is the transfer station's been rehabilitated, reconditioned, rebuilt, something along those lines. When Chapman was the Public Works Director, with an intent of that facility being a bit of a revenue generator. And after Chapman was moved out by Mayor Finizio, that concept went out the window with him. Do you think there was a pipe dream, or is there an opportunity for utilizing the facility as Chapman intended?
I mean, my understanding was where our transfer station is now was to become more of a commercial establishment, and a new transfer station being built across the street for residential. But I don't know any of the particulars. I don't know if that's still in the works.
Within the city, I don't know. I mean, there's a commercial facility being built right next door to you guys,
Yeah, but that's
which is separate.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, I really can't.
I'm just curious.
I'm just saying that that's what I understood and what I had heard. Whether or not that's true,
Because Brian was kind of tap dancing on that.
he did. He didn't want to answer a question last week. He said he wasn't able to say.
So to take off on what Marty said with a revenue generator, we have our numbers here. Do you think they're in line where they should be? Should they be more? Should they be less?
oh the rate.
Yeah, in general.
I think they should be more.
Which part? Well, everything or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at other towns, like car tires and everything are about the same. The ACs, we might be like $5 less than, but other places are like $115 a ton. And
For the garbage that people drive in.
For-
Willimantic waste right now is $120 a ton for commercial disposal.
Do you know how?
C&D, which we are charging $95 a ton.
Do you know when the last time we revisited these numbers? How long have you been?
Ever since 10 years.
Has it been the same since you've been here? So at least 10 years, give or take. And You've been here.
Well, in the beginning, it wasn't. We didn't charge by the weight when I first started. It was like people would come up and they charge $25 to pick up loads.
And I know they're lower on some of the items than if they had the resident called bulk waste and picked up.
Right.
Because they had a whole set of numbers related to those if you guys had to go up to the resident to pick up a refrigerator or a couch or it's higher than what's on
So-
there. But you want an incentive, it's like, if they're gonna bring it in themselves, give them a little bit differential, but you need to compare the two, what you've already set up with on bulk waste against this list too.
So if hypothetically our committee said, hey, we need to raise these rates, do the private contractors who can have any other options besides, bringing it up to Willimantic Waste or other places at $40 more per ton?
I don't think they would want to go up to Willimantic Waste to get rid of it because they got to pay for the fuel,
Fuel,
going up
manpower.
there.
So I guess what I'm getting at is, to me, it makes sense you raise the rates to just below, high enough so they have to use you, but not too high where they'll actually consider driving to Willimantic. So even if you went up to 125, if it's 125 to drive from here to Willimantic, or it's 125 to drive down the street, you take the 125. I mean, I think the average is our trucks get like 3 miles per gallon. It's 30 miles up to Willimantic and 30 miles back. So you can do the math and see how much it costs just for gas and time or
Bulky
whatever.
waste goes to Plainfield.
Right.
So it's,
A little further.
well, Plainfield and Willimantic are generally, roughly the same kind of mileage.
Right, and then you have the hourly rate and whatever else you want to throw in there. Because it seems to me we're doing them a favor in a sense, rather than making it being revenue generating, at least for maybe that portion of it. Is that fair to say, or is
We're subsidizing.
that's another word for it?
But yeah, Brian led to believe that you are making some revenue off the private last week. Or last time we met, about $200,000.
Yeah.
That, just like with the police department, it'd be nice to see that money come back into your department so we could get more individuals or equipment or whatever we need to run the department instead of it always suffering massive budget cuts year after year, which you guys well know.
Does the private hauler drop off would include the Carabetta properties? There's, no?
Oh, you mean, is there private haulers going to Carabetta?
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it's the same,
then they're dropping,
They don't drop off with us.
okay.
I don't know. They probably go to Preston or.
So some of the private haulers will, the agreement is, actually you have it in your packet tonight. I gave it to you. There's a new agreement that just came out last week. They will drive it to Preston. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but maybe you could say they clock in or something under our account, and they pay us $62 versus $58 a ton. They pay per truck per year, like a license permit fee, and then every time they drop it off, we'll send them a bill for $58 a ton, or New London makes $4. So there's no wear and tear on our trucks or gas or any of that stuff. So I think Carabetta, CWPM, and some of the other ones, they go directly, and then obviously we take some of the other trucks at your transfer station. I don't know if that answers it.
Yeah, I thought that they were CWPM in that.
There's Carabetta, Always, CWPM. You may know more than I have.
All time.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different.
Always.
Sterling Superior.
Willie Waste wouldn't come down here, but they've got that trucks and everything as well. So the actual transfer station, obviously we've had, Paul Gills went over this a little bit last time he was here. State safety issues and tragic accidents in the past. You're there every day. How safe is our transfer station for you? How safe is it for, I'll call it our guests, the trucks that come in? And then how safe is it for the residents who come in to drop stuff off? Because there's only one entrance.
Yeah.
It's a small area.
Right.
It's hard to turn around. If there's a minivan or whatever, it's hard to get around and do things. So maybe you could talk about that.
I mean, it's gotten smaller since I've been there. It used to,
So we make more trash and we make it smaller?
Yeah, we used to have a lot of space, but now we got a lot more containers around, so it makes it kind of harder to get in and out. I mean, we can only have 2 big trucks in there at one time, because if we get 3, then it gets congested.
Okay.
But as far as safety, it's a lot safer than what it's been, because before we didn't have gates, before the pit, which compacted the garbage,
Okay.
So
So you have
now-
the gates and you have those little, the metal things, so you can't like back into it also.
Right. And we also have an attendant there, so watching people so they don't walk behind the gate, so nobody can get hurt.
So you feel it's fairly safe,
Yeah.
or safer
Yeah.
now as compared to in the past? Okay. Now, do you have questions?
I have a question, but it's not really for now. So.
Okay. Go ahead, Mike.
When you guys do city parks, is that done on a daily basis, or is it on a
The Parks
per second?
Department,
I think Parks drives that.
Parks
Park
Department
handles?
has a
So you don't do
gentleman,
parks?
Corey, no, we do not, who has a pickup, a white Ford pickup with a dump body, who does daily parks, the bathrooms at the parks, keeping those clean, walking around the parks, picking the litter. I can't tell you exactly what he does because I'm not in the Parks Department, but I do know that he comes in regularly, once a day anyway, sometimes a couple times a day, especially during the summer when there's a lot of things happening in the parks.
And at an unscientific level, I mean, can you kind of give an overview of where recycling is working better or not so well
I would not be able to say with the parks.
on a daily basis? I mean, you're in different parts of town.
You mean the overall, not just Parks and Recs?
Huh?
You mean overall, not just Park and Recs?
No, this is the question with respect to taking the parks out. It's
Okay.
basically getting back to what you do.
I would answer that. Then I would say Thursdays and Fridays for sure, especially Fridays.
You're getting better participation.
Yes.
And is that because they're primarily single-family homes?
Yes. I would say that. And they're more, they actually like listen to these meetings and read up on what's going on, and they're more conscious of what needs to be done. When it's like 3 or 4 family homes, people sometimes are working 2 or 3 jobs. They have so many kids. There's only so much time in a day where they can read a newspaper or whatever it is that they're doing with their lives.
Can you envision an educational program that could change that?
I can, but the thing is, it's like we were saying, we have to set the education and then we have to enforce the education. We can't just like, oh, this is what we do. And then, you know what? You don't do that anymore.
Marty, can I say something about that?
Is Marty?
Rob, I've got
I'll get back
one more
to
question.
I got to follow up on this too.
A big push was put on by the city administration for the pay-as-you-throw, which the theory was that it would increase recycling because people would not want to be paying to have their garbage picked up. Hence the bags, pay for your bag. Now, from a field position, does that theory, you think, hold water, or is it kind of a fantasy island?
To me, it's a fancy island in this town. Especially with
The
the
plane,
areas.
the plane.
It's just, there's a lot of like animals out here that I've noticed, especially coyotes. I'm noticing even during the day, I'm like, why is there a coyote walking down Montauk? I'm serious.
Yeah, I saw him the other
Broad
day.
daylight, I'm like, what?
So you were going to say something?
Yeah, but I will say this: when the pay-as-you-throw was, introduced, like people were talking about it, there was more recycling. Like weeks after that, after everybody thought it was going to be pay-as-you-throw, there's more recycling now. That's
Just
being
a threat of it.
Yeah.
And it's continued that way.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Abel, getting back to you were talking about recycling on Thursday and Friday, for whatever reason, we have better recycling, is that fair to say?
Yeah.
On the other days, in addition to education or worrying about your family or even dinner or whatever it might be, do you feel on Thursday and Friday week that the people you pick up have places to put their recycling, like the individual bins or cans versus the other days of the week? Like, do you actually see less blue in the beginning and more blue at the end? I guess is what I'm asking.
Absolutely.
So if we found a way to roll out carts or bins, do you think people would recycle in those other neighborhoods? If they had the ability, if they had something to put it, is it just the idea they don't have it, is my question?
Yes, but would they use it for what it's supposed to be intended for? Because there's been times I've seen people just take the cans and it's just in another town. Literally. Like, do you live here or?
Well, I think that gets back to Marty's culture shift in a way. If we see people doing it, maybe they'll start doing it. You know, if you no longer see an entire tree in a garbage can, but when you see one in a garbage can, then you say, all right, well, he did it or she did it, then I can put a tree in there, and then I can put a tree in there. But if we switch to like enforcement to a degree where you don't pick it up unless the lid's closed, we're no longer going to see the tree. And eventually, I think people will catch on and you can't do that type of thing anymore. Marty, you had a question?
No, I mean, I think wanted to pipe in here on this one.
Oh, on the pay as you throw, my take on it is, number one, is there a weight limit to the bags? And my understanding, there was supposed to be like a 35-pound limit per bag.
Less than that.
Okay. What I feel and what I see sometimes is they're going to take and try to stuff those bags as far as they can, and or on the recycling side, everything now is going to be thrown into those bins, whether it's recycling or not, to get away from it. Okay, that's number two. And number three is if we go to taking the green barrels and those becoming the recycle, or as Brian had originally talked about, or I heard him talking, we're still going to use those green containers, but they're going to only have the yellow bags.
Sure.
My thought, and the number three thought is, you're going to have garbage all up, 2 or 3 yellow bags on the very top. So
You're hiding your garbage, essentially.
you're going to do whatever you can to not pay that amount of money. Those are 3 things that I see. Along with those, there's going to be, if those bags are too heavy and the guys they're going to throw them bags in, you've got shoulder problems, you've got back problems, you've got knee problems.
Sure.
Down the road.
So how is what you just said, maybe you can answer, different from you picking up a recycling bin?
It's about the same.
And that's, I mean, are there injuries from repetitive motion type of thing?
Repair?
No, I mean, as long as I take care of myself, not rush, squat properly.
Stay young.
Yeah. Well, you're in trouble.
But your part is Tim, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how he lives, but
No, I'm just
I
saying this.
If that yellow bag program would work, then I'd be all for it. These are some of the negatives that I see. And I don't think I'm really far off in speaking those.
You're preaching the choir because I've pushed all along. What we're having here, I don't think you were even ever considered before council, or even your input to your director for your input on the yellow bag program. I know when I talked to guys on the street that nobody wanted to hear what you guys had to say. And yet here, this is very informative what you're telling us with the program now, for lack of better words, on the bookshelf right now. Because if we don't come up with a solution in this task force or committee, they're going to go back to it.
Go ahead, Marty.
Well, I think it's evident that the mayor strongly supports the pay as you throw. He has not given up on it. This task force is an opportunity to come up with an alternative.
We haven't given up on it. We're just, like you say, we're here to throw some input out there, and hopefully we're making the input constructive and not destructive.
Yeah, I do think when we've talked about it here too, with pay as you throw, you're moving solid waste to recycling. But if recycling all of a sudden goes from -5 to $55 per ton, did you solve anything? Yes, you're creating less MSW, but you moved it into a place that used to be a negative for the town to a not so negative anymore. And that's part of our problem is we have a moving target. Throw the dart and the board moves over a little bit or moves behind you, and you think you maybe have something good, and then you don't. And it's difficult to pinpoint. So, did you guys?
I mean, one thing Brian brought to my attention, which I was not aware of, is that wet papers are not recycled. That's thrown out. Is that correct?
I've always taken them.
You take them, but when it gets up to the recycling center, they've treated it as garbage. Is that correct?
I found out that sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It depends on the paper. So, in newspaper, the fibers will pull all apart. But one of these papers, they sometimes can use it. They have I believe it's a device like a thermometer, that they can actually tell how the moisture level. So
they've never told me anything about that.
They probably do it long after you're gone. Actually, I did I did a little test about. Actually, I can talk about it now. So one of my little obsessions lately is water. Marty knows about this. And our bins are not covered, and it rains. So if you take a week of newspapers and you weigh it, and then you wet them, it's like 80% heavier. And
Just like the leaves.
right, so it's a benefit for us in the past because the more it weighs, the more we get. But if we're going the other way, the more it rains, the more we pay.
Yeah.
So a lot of my questions for the bins, and different things are if we simply have lids on everything, and it keeps things dry, we're going to reduce our costs in the future versus continuing with the bins where it rains, it snows, all that type of thing. Because paper absorbs whatever. If you have a garbage can with no lid and you put your sweatshirt in there, and it rains on a Monday, but I pick it up on Friday, it's not going to dry. So we're transporting water.
Not only that, but when it snows.
Right. So in the snow, it's going to freeze and it's not going to go away. So you're just going to have a big chunk of ice. So anyway, I'll get back to you. Did you guys have more comments or any ideas or
about two
thoughts?
things.
Go ahead, Marie.
Clothes and textiles, how much of that do you feel like you actually handle that adds to the weight of the rest of
I don't know. I would say probably about 20% of it.
20%?
Probably, yeah, because when people do evictions and stuff like that, then all the clothes and everything come in
A
bags.
lot of stuff from evictions, and it's whole people's lives.
Yeah.
I've seen dresses, I've seen baby cribs. When they do evictions, they just did one on Showhome, on Blackhole. Everything, from the
That's it.
mattress to the refrigerator to the.
There's actually a program now. David Aldridge didn't talk about it last time, but it doesn't really affect you guys. But if you have clothes, they have a purple bag program. You can put it in the purple bag, and you call this number, and they'll come and pick it up.
I did not know they had time for that.
No, not them.
I was going to say.
So you've seen it before. I haven't actually seen it in action.
I've seen it.
I don't know if are they doing it here?
They usually just call and I see somebody just come pick it up.
Okay.
Like they'll have like whatever the company is.
I mean, because even if it reduces half of that 20%, it's 10% of clothes go somewhere else. I don't know that much about the program.
But you guys don't understand. People aren't going to do it that should be doing it. I don't know when anybody's going to realize that.
And that's the struggle. How do we
People aren't
get
going to do it that should do it.
well? How do we get this out to everybody to know what to do in the future? And that's our part of our
You
issue.
can make a lot of these copies and hand them to her. She can get them out to the city.
Sure.
I don't have a problem with that.
Or you have another question? Go ahead.
And Russian leaves, they're not going into the trash.
Sometimes.
Why would they go?
Often they do.
Because they put them inside the green can.
They put
Like
them in
people,
garbage cans.
this is where the education should come into play, so people know what to put in the green can and what to put in your recycling.
And there's only, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, because like a lot of times, I'm not gonna say where, but they, people put leaves and everything inside the green can instead of putting it in a brown bag or bringing it down to the transfer station, which is free to get rid of at the transfer station.
And if it was in the brown bag,
They have a scheduled leaf pickup
Or you
how
can just
often
bring it
is
to
the
the
schedule?
twice a year.
It used to be. more.
It used to be
Just
more.
go with that.
Do you
Used
think
to be-
more
it
frequently
used to be 3 or
pickup
4
would
times.
help? Do you think more frequent leaf pickup would help with that?
But we would need more people too.
With two weekends where before we used to be 4 to 6 that they would pick up leaf
It'd be
bags,
like
but we had
4 in the
to-
fall and it'd be 2 or 3 in the spring.
Randy, did you have another question?
No, I think all the answers are there about that one.
I wanted to go back to what Marty was saying about education, because I think that's really.
Make it short, bud, because we got a couple more things.
And with incentives, okay? I was working in the office where the office manager wouldn't even talk about recycling cans and bottles. And her daughter was going to Isaac.
But can you send it to me in email, just so we can talk to them?
She started recycling there.
Yep.
She got incentives for it. Her mother started doing that in the office.
If you can send me information, I will, then we can bring it here and talk about it another time. I think, did you guys have anything else to add, or are there any other questions from here?
I mean,
I can't think of right now.
I don't know if they could put it on the website, like, once we get everything together, you know, like what goes in the recycle, what goes in the green can, what comes out to the transfer station, if they can put that on the website.
Sure.
You know, and
So, just so you know, I know we had the bag study, basically, and I've actually written to them. It's our website, and do we have the ability to modify that to the way we want to? I don't know yet, but I think if we had an additional website, in addition to the city one, where it was like a solid waste website information, because Skura has some information on your website where you can type in phones.
Right.
It'll tell you where to bring it.
Right.
You know, and David talked about the app where you can type in your watch or glasses or whatever, and it tells you where to bring it. But I think if we had a better website.
Send your glasses to the Lions.
That's right. I don't know if it says Lions Club on their website. But I think if it had all the information, it was always up to date. I interrupted you. I'm sorry, Quincy.
no, I mean, or years ago, I would say probably maybe a year ago, we used to get the papers, not the day, but we used to get the New London papers.
Yeah, yeah.
We used to let you know about New London and things like that. I don't see it anymore. But if they implemented that and you know, put in there what, you know, went into the garbage cans and recycle, that would probably help out a little bit
Just
more.
a little
Also,
bit more.
just by people, you know, reading it. So
Sure.
I think bulk mailings, the educational, the stickers, all of this would compound itself to help everybody
Help you and
involved.
everything else.
It's not any one thing that's going to make it. It's going to be a whole big effort of many different areas to try to increase what we're looking to do here.
And ongoing, it can't just be a one and done.
Town of Waterford, I don't know if they still do it. They had, like Quincy was saying earlier, the Blight officer. They'd have a guy go out to different neighborhoods each week, and he would pick up the can lid, look inside, and he would cite it. You know, it'd be a warning at first. I don't know if there is fines that they can actually enforce or not, but I know we don't have the manpower or the monies and the fees to put somebody out there like that. But I think the other stuff, like I say, the bulk mailings.
Do you think people don't even know we have a transfer station?
Some people don't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I've been asked a
I
couple
don't know.
times throughout the days.
Yeah, I'd have to say that there's
3 years.
got to be a certain percentage that wouldn't know that or don't know that.
And that's why I think we have to start literally at ground zero. Let people know there is a transfer station.
I think one of the things that we should look at, or the city needs to look at, is turning it back into residents only and not taking all this other stuff. We need to take care of our own first. Period.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, I want to thank you three for coming in. That was
I got a question for you.
Jackie.
For the bag. Last year, for the leaves, I saw this guy with a huge truck. He had a bunch of leaves in it. He had them in the leaf bag, and then he switched them to a black bag. and then he went around the neighborhood and put it in everybody's trash because nobody, the mayor only did nothing last year for pickups. Is that true?
No, we didn't. We
Last year you did, right?
Yes.
But he must have missed the deadline.
I want to
Okay,
let
thank
Cheryl, let's have Cheryl have one question, and then I want to, I know Mel wanted to say something.
I've been
Good,
very
Chair.
patient.
I
I
know,
just want you to know.
you've been great.
First of all, what would happen if you guys said, we can't do overtime tonight? I can't do it. Isn't there something that you guys can say, you know, I have no guys to do overtime? Wouldn't that force them at some point? If you guys refused it, I know it's good overtime, but really, think about it.
There's nothing in the contract that makes
So
us
then,
do
you
that.
know what, quell his bluff.
There is?
Well,
I didn't know that.
Cheryl, I don't want to make it an
Right.
attack on our administration or political. and
No,
I
but
don't
I'm
want to put
just
you guys
saying,
in an awkward
I'm just
position.
saying, we need
I
more
understand.
time. And my second question is, Quincy, if I wanted you to come to my house and pick up all this crap that we want to get rid of, how is that charged?
I don't know the fees because they have you call the Stanton building to talk to them.
Public Works office.
Yeah, they give you the fees for. I think it's like $20 to come pick it up,
And depending on what you have, there's different
Right.
fees.
It's a fee to set the appointment.
I
And then
know
the
that.
council,
Okay, I just didn't know how it worked as far as if we gave a list of stuff.
So I want to thank Quincy and Abel
Yes,
and
thank
Rick
you.
for coming, answering everybody's questions. It was super informative. I'll skip over the recycling and wet paper because I kind of mentioned that in here. So we're on the committee member comments, and Menelik has one, I think.
So like, I'm a little bit confused. Like, so you like, as they were saying, like something about backing, right? And like, you know, like the proper backing to like get done what you need to get done. So like, do you know exactly like how you could get in touch? Like, is it because they don't know exactly what you're going through and like they don't know what's happening, or they don't care? Because that like kind of changes how we go about like.
When you say backing, you're talking, when we say that we don't have backing, if we want to leave something behind or something like that,
Yeah.
it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
We Abel, I'll use him because he's out there recycling. He calls to Quincy, says, "Hey Quincy, there's styrofoam in this box. There's scrap metal in this in the recycle bins versus just cans and bottles. I'm leaving it." We get that person, that resident calls City Hall, gets the mayor's secretary or whatever. Phone call comes back down to our superintendent, goes to Quincy. Quincy's got to get on the radio or on the phone and say, "Hey Abel, you know that spot you didn't pick up? I just got a call from upstairs. You got to go pick it up."
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying when we don't have backing,
Right.
because we're not backed, because we've made the decision out on the road. But ultimately, up here, and it trickles down, he has to go get it anyway.
And that screws things up too, because if you're on your route,
Oh, he could have been all done. He's got to go back out and pick it
It's
up.
happened plenty of times. I've gone back and Quincy's like,
That's what
"Remember
I'm
that
saying when
stuff?"
we don't have that backing.
So like, is it because they don't care? They don't know exactly like how that affects you guys.
Well,
They want to make every resident happy.
I would say that.
So like, how would
Elections
we?
coming next
And I think, Abel, you said it last time, you're not there to be
Elections
everybody's.
coming next year.
I'm not here to be
You're doing
everybody's
a job.
friend. Yeah, I just come here, do my job. I've seen Quincy's seen it. 7:30 is when our start time is. By then, I already have my truck checked, prepped, and ready to go. I'm already out on the road because I already know. Like today, I don't know, somebody must have gotten sick or something. I got pulled from doing recycle, go right to doing trash. It doesn't bother me because
You're used
I'm
to
here. Yeah, I'm kind of like the switchblade. I could go here, there, and whatever.
Okay.
No, not the proper thing
It's a
to
great
say.
comparison.
Did I answer that question for you?
Swiss Army.
Yes.
Sorry.
Oh,
But not only that, but Quincy, your team, a couple months ago, it was a holiday on a Monday or Tuesday, and we thought you guys were coming, and we all put our trash back because we didn't think, well, it's already 4 o'clock. I still remember you guys went back there at Riverview Avenue at 6 o'clock and picked up everybody's trash. And come to find out, it was because your truck was broken and nobody knew. but it was just that Miss Jessie made that phone call to ask
I
what
get on that
happened.
truck at 11 o'clock at night.
Because you guys were, the truck broke. So I want to say to all, and each and every one of you, thank you for that day. Because it was, I didn't expect for you guys to come back at all. So I thank you very much.
I think we've reached the end unless anybody else had.
Yeah.
Go ahead, one from Jackie, then more.
What about doing like a mass mailing, like when taxes are due, right in with the tax bill of the.
So I think I've asked about this to different places, and sometimes the bills don't come from New London, and we're a little limited on what we can put on them because they're mailed from somewhere else. And for the tax bills, also, a lot of us don't actually get them. So if you're buying a house, it's a lot of times in with your mortgage, so you don't actually see the tax bill. So like a leased car, the lease place will pay for the car, and then you just get the bill from Kia or Hyundai or whatever. So it doesn't get to everybody, but I think it's a great idea. And Veolia, I've talked to them, they're willing to.
Yeah, the water Eversource.
Veolia is willing to maybe put something in there if they've got space on there. Like even if it just simply said, please recycle your paper. You know?
How about banks? Banks, when people go pick up their paychecks, cash their paychecks, then they pass them out.
Okay, so
let's let Karen have one, and then we'll find.
No, I was just going to say the other issue is you've got other renters that don't have a water bill and don't have.
But it's a start to get somewhere. It's hard to get.
Well, like Rick said, you've got to do multi.
Right, and I don't know if there's a way to mail everybody in the entire city.
Okay, how about when we have events, Sailfest, St. Patrick's Day, those kind of events, can we maybe incorporate something,
I think we can. I think
This was mailed to everybody 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
and I think along with Quincy's, you make the website better if we had better stuff. It may go a long way.
$200K for dues and subscriptions, we should be able to find the money somewhere.
Go ahead, Marie.
Why would we not just use the SCARA form?
Oh,
I
we can.
shared that with you. I mean,
Yeah.
to start from,
Yeah, if we're at
they know
events,
best
hand it out.
what's regionally acceptable.
I just thought about it. You know how our trucks have decals saying recycle truck and all that? Or in London. How about a sign that shows what's recyclable and what isn't?
How about a billboard? Coming from
We're
a billboard.
We're basically billboards.
You also have
I know we have all the other decals and stuff.
makes frequent
Want a motion
stops,
to adjourn?
flashing
Yeah,
lights.
well, I mean, we need to get control.
I didn't see them.
So we've reached the end, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
Against.
gentlemen.